Sanchez and the 21 of Brian Chambliss. They're battling for 7th and 8th. Kyle Kraus wants to get in on the action here as well. Kyle Kraus to the inside. Oh, Sanchez in the fence. And Sanchez has just lost out big time in the fence. And he's going to be in the middle of the track as the rest of the pack catches him. He'll want to try and get back up to speed very quickly. He's also going to be at risk. But at the moment, it is Brian Bateman in the lead of this race in the 83 car. And it's not a bad looking car. Like, this is actually one of the cars that I really rate as far as paint schemes go. It's nice and it's simple. It's black with the silver trim down on the bottom of the car. It just looks nice and classic, Brian.
Yeah, it's definitely a simple looking paint scheme, reminiscent of Dale Earnhardt Sr. with the black. You know, you see that black car coming up in your rear view, you know, you better watch out.
That's exactly right. He wasn't the Intimidator for nothing. But at the moment, he is going to be in the lead of this race. Derek Runge has re-overtaken second. Chambliss sitting in third, and he is only just in front of James Binning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Autism Commentator channel for the Autism Awareness 120 here from the Legacy Phoenix Raceway on iRacing. And it is also championship race day. Even though the championship is well and truly sorted already, everyone is driving for guts and glory here today. Cars have just rolled out onto track for a pit party. At the moment, Chris Champeau actually leading the way in the timetables for 28.308. That's about 0.07 of a second faster than Christian Budd. So maybe Challenger has arisen for supremacy around here at the Phoenix Raceway, as they are often racing for the pit party. Now this is the Legacy Phoenix Raceway, of course, so it does not have the open dogleg. It's all grass down there. The banking isn't as much, and the track is less grippy. As there is anarchy. Oh my god, the pile up coming into turn 3 that time. That was huge. Looks like a lot of people still going though. These cars really seem to dislike turn 2, especially the exit of turn 2. Either snappy loose or it's deathly tight. And we saw a little bit of that as they were coming through on their first lap. As the laps wind down and the right front wears out, you can find yourself getting really tight. If you look after your right front just enough, oh, someone in the background there got into the wall. If you look after your right front just enough, you could possibly see these guys just getting loose there instead. Oh, as Brian Pizzacami slams the wall coming out of turn 4, he got tight. Now, this is a bit of a multi-groove kind of racetrack, because you can run in the second lane, and it can be faster in certain circumstances. There's a 20 of Doug Luckrow. We haven't seen too much of him this season. It is good to see him out there and on track. We also had another returning driver in the 3 of Philip Kruger. There he is. He's currently P16 with a 28.909. There's 17 cars registered to race, 18 people in the server, including myself. I'm pretty sure that was Philip Kraus getting loose there in the background. As we continue on, having a look around, is Jonathan Hernandez with his new look car. Corey Williamson in the 81. Tight little battle here between Williamson, Ken Campbell, and Thomas Harmon. As I can hear people crashing. Oh, there they are. That's Hernandez, and I think that was Marquez as well. There's enough of Hernandez to have to go to the pits. As we saw there, the 38 of Harmon just sliding his rear near the wall. causing the netcode contact with it. The battle is on ahead though. Ken Campbell up on the inside of Corey Williamson. Oh, you can't come back up there, Ken. There's no gap for you. And he's probably going to have to pay for that because here comes Thomas Harmon looking around for a way around. Funny thing is, pretty sure this is the front of the pit party as well. Thomas Harmon's getting beaten by Corey Williamson and Ken Campbell here in the pit party. Williamson glides up high, a little bit tight. See what Campbell can do on the inside now. Williamson still going up very high. Trying to get some momentum maybe. No, he lost it all. As Frank Isaacson's in the wall in turn 4. And Williamson's starting to drop like a rock. There is Marquez in the 64, the 12 and Matt Burgess in there as well. And now we have 18 drivers registered to race. Oh, Thomas Harmon got too low on the track, got loose. And that is a 4-car pile-up. And that's going to become even more than just 4. That's something that these drivers are going to have to worry about when it comes to the actual race. Because on the front stretch there is no running and hiding from anything. Matt Horton got very loose as well coming off turn 4. He managed to keep it down on the inside wall. Something not many people are able to do. Oh, Travis Massia getting too low as well. Experiencing what it's like there in turn 4. And into the wall. This race has the potential to be really, really entertaining, but it also has the potential to become a bit of a caution fest. As now we have a 19th driver enter the server, and Brian Chambliss. James Watson getting very loose coming out of turn 2. There's Frank Isaacson in the 24 car. Corey Williamson down on the apron currently, P8 for Williamson. He pulls into the pits. That's something a few of these drivers will probably want to do as well, is practice pit entries. Very difficult pit entry to get into here, because you get very, very loose on the apron. As Christian Budd has retaken the top spot in practice, the 28.197. So that's just over a tenth faster than Chris Champeau. About 0.11. The top 10 at the moment is Bud, Champeau, Hernandez, Harmon, Kemi, Burgess, Massier and P7, Corey Williamson and Jonas Marquez in 9th. Ken Campbell wrapping up the top 10 there. Oh, as Travis Massier goes around, coming out turn 4. Nowhere for John Lazelle to go, but into him. We're still not seeing one at Jaron Sanchez. Don't even see one Jaron Sanchez in the Discord. Oh, I see. He's not going to be racing tonight. Oh, that sucks. I was hoping we could grab a chat with the league owner after the race, but he's not going to be able to oblige us with a chat. Five of Mark Pentecoff on screen now to the 23 of John Lazelle. Back to Mark. Mark's got Matt Burgess behind him. Burgess takes the inside very easily and nicely. Oh, it looks like Mark caught the wall there coming out of turn 4. Another place where you can get tight. But turn 2 is you're either tight or you're loose or you're both. There is no neither. And no matter how well you think you're saving your tires, turn 2 will make you will make you think twice about it. Words are hard. Travis Massio going for a spin towards the dogleg there. That particular part where he spun. Ooh. Crash coming off turn 4, 23 and the 24 cars, Lozelle and Isaacson. Ken Campbell goes flipping down the front stretch. But where Travis Massio crashed there on the backstretch just before the dogleg is actually the road course exit for the road course variety of track here. As Thomas Harmon got spun. Brian Pizzicchemi ran into him. Oh, Hernandez has been spun. Chambliss went into him. Marquez went into Chambliss. I think Champo had some involvement in that as well. And it looks like we might be gearing up for another pit party here, possibly. A lot of people on the pit lane. But maybe not. Yeah, no, I guess not. Campbell on the outside of Pizzicchemi. Corey Williamson just in behind these guys. But Jonathan Hernandez just ahead. Well, Campbell got very tight there. And Hernandez with damage on the right front and the right rear. If he's not careful, he might get shoved out of the way here by these guys. Tries to get on the apron to get out of the way. That didn't work. Oh, he throws the big block on Pizzicchemi. Pizzicchemi trying to pick up his rear wheels, which is something that you can do in these cars because the front bumper and the rear bumper don't line up. Oh, there it goes. And Corey Williamson, the unfortunate victim of that, getting caught up. And someone else hit the wall there. I think that was the 60. Oh, Kraus. Yep. Oh, and then Hernandez absolutely takes out Pizzicchemi. Corey Williamson joined in on that fun as well. In the background, you can see Matt Horton surfing along the wall. Oh, Kyle Kraus and Mark Pentecoff got into it on the backstretch. Big flips there for Kraus. Now this is a pack. Oh, three wide. Go for it, Frank. Campbell, Isaacson, got Marquez in there, Champo. These guys pushing pretty hard here. Like they're trying to get everything out of their tyres in a short run. Thomas Harmon has joined this little party as well, but he's on fresher tyres. Brian Pizzakemi in just behind as well, also on fresher tyres. Oh, Pizzakemi almost got to the inside of Isaacson. He does it this time though. We go to look at Thomas Harmon. Oh, and Pizzakemi dropping back behind Frank. Gladiator Fernandez running on the high lane there. Kyle Kraus dead on the front stretch, and I think that might have been with the 21 as well. I don't know, I didn't see it too clearly. Matt Burgess was backwards on the grass. It looks like Hernandez might actually be trying to hunt Pizzakemi here. Oh, but he got into the wall. That ruined all of his momentum. I think he might actually have some sizable damage from it. Hernandez does still have a little bit of pace on that car. Not too much though, as I'm pretty sure Frank Isaacson just slammed the wall on the entry to 3. See what Pizzakemi can do on Champo. Right on his bumper. Here comes Hernandez. Hernandez couldn't quite get to the inside. Aggressive driving from both those guys in practice. Oh, and Hernandez puts Pizzakemi around and straightens him up again. And Hernandez is the one who ends up in the grass. And I think that was Corey Williamson that just hit the barrels at the end of the pit lane. And now it's Matt Burgess on Jonathan Hernandez. He makes that easy on the fresher tyres. As we have just under 5 minutes to go in this practice session. Oh, looks like Hernandez tried to get his nose up underneath Burgess as well. Oh, that was weird. The hell happened there? So he hits the grass and the thing just turned right on him. That was strange. Oh, we got a pit party. Pit party with 4 minutes to go in the session. Alright, let's see what these guys can do. They're off and racing. Christian Budd out to the lead to begin things off with. Oh, Watson in the wall. Out of turn 2. Oh, Lozelle and Kruger have gone around. They're taking Matt Horton with them. Lozelle saved it. And into the pits he's going to go. Oh, who's that? Not sure who that was. It wasn't the 20 because he's there. It wasn't Kyle Kraus because I saw him before. Oh, Frank's gotten sideways. Oh, back onto the track he goes. There goes Hernandez and Matt Burgess. Oh, Travis Massier plowing into Frank. Poor Frank. That looked like it hurt. As we now just have a couple of minutes left in practice. And then we move on to qualifying here for the Autism. Oh, 4 pile-ups on the front stretch. I think these guys are thinking that they can get it all out of the way now. That way it doesn't happen in the race. Well, that plus it's already pretty much the end of practice. We're now at the 60-second mark, which means we're going to cut to a commercial break here very shortly. And when we come back, we will see the results and the starting grid for the final race here of the 2021 Season 1 race season here from the Phoenix Raceway. So make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, we are back, and it is time for us to see how our grid stacks up here for the Autism Awareness 120, the ORL Season 1 2021 finale. Live from the Legacy Phoenix Raceway. Starting off the pole, as you can see, is going to be the 50 of Christian Budd. P2 is going to be the 2 of Chris Champeau. P3 will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P4, the 78 of Brian Pizzacchemi. P5 will be the 21 of Brian Chambliss. P6 being the 60 of Kyle Kraus. P7 is going to be the 12 of Matt Burgess. P8, the 15 of Ken Campbell. P9, James Watson in the 39. P10, Frank Isaacson in the 24. Then it's going to be John Lizelle, Mark Pentecoff, Travis Massio, Thomas Harmon, Matt Horton, Philip Kruger, Corey Williamson, and Jonas Marquez wrapping up the field with Doug Luckrow in 19th. The 19 drivers to take the race. Out of the 20 people in the server, which does include myself, strength of field is a 26.02. So we definitely have a strong field here to take on this race today. I tell you what, if there was a 2.6k strength of field in a single split race in the official races, then a pretty stout field, honestly. As the field will start rolling into turns 3 and 4 this time. Pace car should go in straight away. First start will be on green. All subsequent restarts will be on the leader. And this is the final 120 laps for Season 1 of 2021 here in the Output Racing League. Pace car is in.
Go.
And we're
Green
up and
flag.
racing. Christian Budd taking the lead straight away. Jonathan Hernandez zooming up onto the inside, trying to take P2 away from Chris Champeau immediately. That's not going to be the way it's going to quite work out, though, because Chris Champeau fighting back with the momentum on the outside, and he is going to secure himself in P2. There's still a battle going on for 4th between the 21 of Brian Chambliss and the 78 of Brian Pizzacchemi. Pizzacchemi not looking too good there on the outside of 3 and 4. He slots back down into P5, but right into the clutches of Kyle Kraus there in P6 in the 60 car. And it looks like everyone, for the moment, getting through quite nicely. Already a little bit of a gap starting to form for Christian Budd in the 50 car, as he is pulling away ever so slightly from that number 2 car of Chris Champeau. But Chris, not exactly letting Christian get away here. And yeah, Christian's got some speed, but so does Chris Champeau around this track. As too does the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Let's just keep an eye on these guys here a little bit. And soon we'll start floating towards the back of the pack, see if we can see any battles starting to form. As Hernandez trying to get to the back of Chris Champeau there, just unable to do so. But let's see if we can see anything going on in the back of the pack here. Look at the 24 of Frank Isaacson, nothing going on around him at the moment. There's Thomas Harmon, the 38 car, he's currently P12. And Doug Luckrow did not make the grid. Looks like he is OUT out of this race before it even started. Yeah, no battles actually going on right now. And the 2 of Chris Champeau starting to pull away from the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Still trying to keep touch with the 50 of Christian Budd there. So it's going to be a hard challenge for him to do that, but we'll see if he can manage to do it. But we're going to set the camera to focus on crashes here for a sec, see where we end up. And iRacing doesn't even know where it wants to look at the moment. It looks like it's settled on the 5 of Mark Pentecoff for the moment, as we have now survived 6 laps of this 120 lap race. Pretty sure that means we're like 5% of the way through. There's a 23 of John Lazelle, a 38 of Thomas Harmon just behind him. And I'm actually surprised Thomas is this far back. And we know Thomas likes to fight from the back to the front, but I don't think that was intentional this time. Let's go back in to check in on our leaders. And it's a fairly sizable gap from Christian Budd to Chris Champeau. It's 0.8 of a second as they're heading into turn 1. And it's another half a second back from Chris Champeau to Jonathan Hernandez. Chambliss and Pisakemi are still keeping touch with Hernandez. But it's all a little bit of just wait and see at the moment. Now let's hop on board with the 78 of Brian Pisakemi here. Go to his gyro cam. As he is behind that Taco Bell number 21 of Brian Chambliss. See, everyone can actually kind of keep pace here with Christian Budd. Christian not exactly having it all his own way here. He has done a lot of laps of practice. Let's say when he first came into the race server. And that sounded like maybe a little bit of netcode against the wall for Brian Pisakemi. We're starting to look at the outside line now for Brian Chambliss. Interestingly, if we could make that move stick. Ooh, very close quarters there. Let's go back outside the car now. This is definitely a battle that's starting to heat up a little bit. Especially the 60 of Kyle Krause right there as well. So we're just going to keep an eye on proceedings here. The gap hasn't exactly changed between Chris Champeau and Christian Budd at the front. But hopefully Champeau can start reeling Budd in, make it a battle of the Chris's for the first position. And that could be very interesting if that happens. We just have to wait and see how things will play out here between them. Let's go sit on the 2 car for now. Let's get a comparison of lap times. On the last lap, Christian did a 29.1, Champeau did a 29.0, and Hernandez also did a 29.0. So these guys in second and third starting to show some pace and just ever so slightly pulling Christian Budd in. $29.121 that time for Budd. 21.197 for Champeau, so he lost a little bit of ground there. And 29.212 for Hernandez, so he lost a little bit of ground as well on both drivers in front. about these tiny little minute margins that'll make or break this race for the guys behind. It's looking like Christian's starting to stretch his legs a little bit here now. Starting to pull away. He's got the gap out to a second now. Let's have a look at the back of his car. That is what 1.1 seconds looks like. Back to Christian Poe. Let's go see if we can find any battles on the track. It looks like everyone's still fairly strung out. Thomas Harmon's still down in 11th. He has gotten around Frank Isaacson though. It looks like possibly a battle starting up here between the 39 and the 15. It's James Watson and Ken Campbell respectively. These guys soon to be battling for P8 by the looks of things. That's if Campbell can close in on Watson's bumper. And we also have the 60 car, Kyle Kraus, who's closed in on Brian Chambliss. And Pizzakemi got around Chambliss as well. We didn't see that happen. Don't even know what lap that happened on. But that 60 car definitely hounding back bumper of the 21. Let's watch this from the back of the Pizzakemi car. We like our loud camera angles, especially at tracks like this. It looks like Kyle just getting to the inside this time. Nope, pulled it back out. Looking for the outside lane. I don't think he'll get it on the outside. I think if he's going to make this move, he's going to have to do it in the inside lane. He gets to the inside this time. Chambliss gives him plenty of space. Went all the way at the wall in that time. Oh, Kraus up into P5 now. Chambliss down to P6. Let's go back even further, where there are some more moves being made. Ken Campbell and Thomas Harmon fighting it out, and they're trying to get John Lozelle and James Watson into this battle as well. Harmon trying to get that top 10 away from Campbell. He's got his nose ahead, and he's got him cleared this time. As Harmon is starting his fight towards the front. Now the next person he's got to get around is John Lozelle in that 23 car. And John Lozelle going for a move on James Watson. They're still battling it out for 8th. Thomas Harmon is about to jump into this party. And it looks like Lozelle this time gets Watson cleared. That's going to open the door up now for Harmon to try and make a move. Unless Watson is going to make a counter move on Lozelle. Not going to get there this time. In fact, he goes wide. And that has allowed Harmon to get his nose up underneath of Watson. But Watson, with that momentum in the higher lane, pulls away ever so slightly from Thomas. Thomas back down to the inside in 1 and 2. Can Harmon make the move as they come out of turn 2? They're wheel to wheel, side by side, door to door. And into turn 3, this should become academic at this point as Watson goes very wide in turn 3. And that is now Thomas Harmon up into P9. Watson, though, not going to lay down on his laurels. Fighting back towards the inside of Harmon. Doesn't look like he's quite got the pace that Harmon had on the inside line there. Couldn't get up and get his nose underneath Thomas. Thomas even gave him the lane. But that momentum in that higher lane was just too strong for Watson to be able to do anything with it. Now Thomas is going to start charging down on John Lozelle for P8. It looks like we've got another little battle forming in the background between the 24 and the 13. Frank Isaacson and Travis Massia. Frank in the Autism Awareness number 24. Travis Massia in the Gladiator 13. It looks like Frank starting to pull away from Travis now. That little bit of a scrap became nothing. You got Philip Kruger out the back here battling with Marquez and Penticuff. Marquez behind, Penticuff in front. Let's go and check out this little battle that's starting to form for third. Got Brian Pizzacami catching up to Jonathan Hernandez very quickly. And he's towing Kyle Kraus along as well. Oh, Pizzacami experimenting with some alternate dimensions. He's back. We're going to have to put the camera on Jonathan Hernandez now, because that was a big blink for Brian Pizzacami. As we've now just gone past quarter of the way through this race, I think it's a good opportunity for us to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll see what other battles are starting to form around this track, if we can find any. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back live and exclusive here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Autism Awareness 120, the grand finale of Season 1 2021. And as you can see, there is a change for second place. Not long after we went to the commercial break there, Jonathan Hernandez went a little bit too high on the exit of turn 2 and slapped the wall a little bit, allowed Brian Pizzicami to get up on his inside and get around him. Now, Hernandez facing the pressure from Kyle Kraus. And we've also had a pit stop from Corey Williamson in the 81 car. I think he's in there for damage repairs because he's still not come out of the pits yet. But Jonathan Hernandez definitely losing out on a little bit of pace here as Kyle Kraus getting to his inside as we come into turn 3. Oh, just about some door-to-door contact. It's very close quarters between these two. They're battling it out for the 4th position. Hernandez still just holding on to it over Kraus. But it probably won't take too long for Kraus to take the advantage on the inside line there. As actually Kraus looking like he backed out of that ever so slightly. I wasn't expecting him to back out of it so aggressively like that. But still, Christian Budd leading the way from Chris Champeau, and now Brian Pizzicami in the 78. Christian Budd has a 4-second lead over Chris Champeau. Yeah, it looks like Kraus might be having a bit of an issue here, because he was all over the back of Jonathan Hernandez there. And now he just seems to be dropping off a little bit. I don't know whether his tyres are all burnt up now or what, but definitely not the same pace that we were seeing out of him earlier. Let's see if Kyle Kraus can fight back on Jonathan Hernandez here and maybe try and take that 4th place away from him. Let's go and see what else we can see happening around the track. We look to see Thomas Harmon is still behind John Lozelle. We're back up to our battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. And these guys look like they're really going slow in turns 1 and 2 now. The pace has dropped dramatically from the start of the race. To put it into perspective, Jonathan Hernandez's fastest lap of the race was a 28.520, and his time across the line this time is a 29.746. So 1.2 seconds slower than his fastest lap of the race. Kyle Kraus is up on his inside now, trying to take that position away. Let's see if he can do it this time. Hernandez using that momentum, staying with Kyle. Kyle charging it into turn 1 and 2. And it changed to a different battle for no particular reason, so we'll go back to this. It looks like this time Kyle has the move made, and Brian Chambliss at the same time buying in on this battle. Well, if you're going to run high, I'm going to go low with Kyle, and I'm going to take you as well. And he does so coming off turn 4 this time. Hernandez has dropped from 3rd all the way back to P6. That was in a matter of about 10 laps. But now the battle is still on in front of him, with Chambliss and Kraus starting to look at each other like they want to have a battle. Chambliss looking to the inside of Kraus through turn 4. Kraus ran a little bit wider there. I think he was trying to keep up his momentum. This time, both of them running low. Looks like Chambliss just getting a slightly better exit out of turn 2 that time. Oh, Kraus got into the fence coming out turn 4. That is the advantage the 21 car needed, and he took that with a vengeance. I think Kyle Kraus actually hit that wall quite good because he's fallen all the way back into the clutches of Jonathan Hernandez now. Hernandez might be able to get back into the top 5 yet after making his own mistake just about 15 laps ago. Now let's go see what Thomas Harmon is up to, as he is still behind John Lozelle, just can't find a way around John. Either that or his tyres just aren't allowing him the speed necessary to get around John. Let's go check in on our leader, Christian Budd, who has just entered lap traffic. He's already gotten around Mark Pentecoff, and now his next target is Frank Isaacson. To the outside of Frank he goes in the dogleg. Frank backed out just a little bit early there for turn 3 just to allow Christian through. The next two on the list of Christian Budd is Philip Kruger and Jonas Marquez, who have been sitting there trading positions for 14th and 15th for the last 10 laps or so. The 5 of Mark Pentecoff has come into the pits. And Kruger sticking to the outside lane, allowing Christian Budd up on the inside. I think he might have tapped the wall a little bit there too as well. Go focus on crashes, see where iRacing lands us. And it looks like we're in the middle of the battle for 11th with James Watson and Travis Massey and Ken Campbell. But James Watson starting to lose some ground here on the outside lane. And Lozelle and Harmon are side by side for their position as well. This is the battle for 7th. Harmon just doesn't quite seem to have the drive that he usually does. Struggling to get around John Lozelle here with any kind of speed, but he does so going into turn 1 this time. Slide job style. Lozelle looking to cut back down on his inside. And I think he's got his nose up there. He does. So this is a battle that could keep going for a while yet. As Thomas tries to pinch down on Lozelle. But Lozelle still there on his inside as they cross the line. Into turn 1, Lozelle still there. This is a great side-by-side battling that we're seeing right now. It looks like Thomas Harmon using the momentum on the outside, clearing him off the exit of turn 2. Lozelle trying to fight back again, but I just don't quite think it'll be enough. Now Thomas Harmon will start marching his way towards Jonathan Hernandez in P6. It is, unless John Lozelle can get back up to his inside and continue this battle again. Because Thomas Harmon isn't exactly getting away from John Lozelle here. fact, John's still right up on his bumper. If these were open wheel cars, you'd say he's on his fucking gearbox. Let's see what other battles we have going on around the track. That was the 13 and the 15 that I saw. Travis Massier and Ken Campbell. These guys battling it out for 11th. Massier trying to take it over Campbell. Campbell using that momentum coming out of turn 2 to swoop around the outside of Massier. Massier's going to have to think of another way to try and get around him. Massier with a great run through turns 3 and 4 goes back to the inside for turn 1. As we are now halfway through this race, 60 laps down, 60 laps to go. And we'll probably start seeing pit stops happening soon as well. It just seems that Travis Massier just can't quite get that drive that he needs to get underneath of Ken Campbell. And make it say, oh, he got loose. Took too much of the apron, got very loose there. And this little group of 3, Campbell, Massier and Watson, are actually the next guys on the list for Christian Budd to put a lap down. I mean, survey says they might want to pit here very shortly so they can have some fresher tyres and maybe pull away from him a little bit using the undercut. I don't think that's what's going to happen. These guys are too enthralled in their battle. As now Travis Massier will look for a move here into 3 and 4. Because we've seen him make all the moves going into turn 1. And it looks like he's going to the outside this time in 3 and 4. He wants to try the momentous line. And so far it's working. Let's see how it goes when they come off at turn 4. And it worked. He got around Ken Campbell. That's now Travis Massier up into 11th. Finally, Ken Campbell down to P12. And now all these guys have to really worry about is the 50 of Christian Budd, who is coming. Going back to Thomas Harmon and John Lozelle. Close quarters battling still for these two. And one would have assumed that Harmon would have just pulled away from Lozelle as soon as he got cleared, but that is definitely not the case. Oh, he's sideways. I think Lozelle got into him a little bit in the braking zone for turn 3 there.
Thank you.
Let's open up the radio waves and see if anything gets said about it. It might not, because both those drivers are in the Discord server. But it's still a very close battle there between those two. And Harmon will probably not be happy about the fact of him getting that tap going into turn 3. And we've got pit stops happening as well. Kyle Kraus, the first one in the top 5 for Blink. Let's see what Lozelle can do here on Harmon. Oh, he gets loose. Lozelle keeps it going. But no doubt he'll have some kind of damage to that car after getting loose coming off of turn 2. I think he's going to pull it into the pits this time, maybe. No, he stays out. But now Thomas Harmon starting to catch up to Jonathan Hernandez. That'll be the battle for 5th. Kyle Kraus just starting to come out of the pits. He'll be 1 lap down. But the important thing is here is that he'll have the undercut. So he could gain a lot of track position through pitting that little bit earlier. He'll just lose out on tire grip later in the race.
Go ahead, Kyle.
And that was John Lozelle just letting Kyle Kraus know that he could go past him at any time. He recognises Kraus has the fresher tyres. Let's go check in on Brian Pisakemi, who is in there behind Chris Champeau. This is the battle for second. Or at least it will be if Pisakemi can catch up to Chris here. And it looks like Chris is pitting. So we might get robbed of this battle here. It's going to promote Pisakemi up into P2. Go see if Christian Budd's going to pit. Stays out this time. I mean, if you're Christian Budd, you probably want to try and do a no-stop race, if you can. Because it looks like he's still got plenty of life in those tires. He's not sliding the car at all. Go have a look out of his visor cam. Yeah, he's steering the car with the throttle. And he's just doing it ever so elegantly. As he's catching up to Travis Massier here in the 13. And he's pitting this time. Christian Budd pulls the trigger and comes into the pits this time. Where is Pisakemi? There he is, coming through turn 3 now. Off turn 4, sorry, and he pits as well. So that is now going to promote Chambliss into the lead. As Kyle Kraus and Chris Champeau go underneath him. Now we know Chambliss fancies his chances with a longer run and fresher tyres for the end of the race. So we'll see if that's the way this is going to play out for him. As Chambliss will be scored as the leader this time around. Christian Budd maintains a position in the lead lap of the field. Kyle Kraus has jumped up into P2 in front of Chris Champeau. And Chambliss pits this time. And I think John Lozelle is actually going to get leader lap points here. He managed to get around Brian Chambliss there before Chambliss made it to the start-finish line. That is leader lap points for John Lozelle. The only other car who hasn't pitted yet. Oh, we've got a caution on the track. And it is for the 33 of Matt Horton. Let's see what happened to Horton here. So it's coming into turn 3. There's a 64 behind him of Marquez, who has fresh tyres. And, oh, the speed difference. I don't think Marquez was expecting him to go all the way up to the top like that. And around went Horton into the fence. That is our first caution of the day in the middle of green flag stops. So we're going to go to a commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to see how the events of this caution will unfold. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back live and exclusive here on the Autism Commentator channel for the grand finale of Output Racing League Season 1 2021, the Autism Awareness 120 from the Phoenix Raceway. And as you can see, we're focused on the 50 car of Christian Budd, because Christian has now gone back into the lead of this race. So your order as it stands right now is Budd, Pizzicami, Chambliss, Champeau, Kraus, Lizelle, Massier, Isaacson, Harmon, and Hernandez as your top 10. Hernandez is actually getting a wave around here. So he was second car, one lap down. Wasn't quite enough for the lucky dog, but he will get the wave around and get back onto the lead lap. And two with Ken Campbell and James Watson. And it looks like 50 of Christian Budd is going to exercise his right to pick a lane. He's going to choose the outside lane for the restart here, as our wave around cars will start making their way through to the back of the pack. Got five cars taking the wave around. Three of them return to the lead lap, two of them either one lap down or 2 laps down. So let's take this restart from the back of the Christian Budd car on the outside lane. Pace car is in. We're off.
Go. Green flag.
A great start for Christian Budd. Not such a good start there for Pizzicami. In fact, Chris Champeau in the outside lane almost taking advantage and swooping around Pizzicami to take P2. Not going to quite do it this time though. Now he goes to the inside of turn 3. Doesn't get his nose up there though. The Kyle Kraus just in the background there, battling it out with John Lizelle for 5th and 6th. And it looks like Kyle Kraus is going to be the winner of that little exchange. Everyone's gone single filed out right now. But that doesn't mean that the intensity has dropped at all. Intensity is still very much up as far as what these competitors are concerned. Let's go and have a look back at the 78 of Pizzicami. The fastest lap of the race has been set by Chris Champeau, sitting there in third, the number 2 car, did a 28.337. And he did that on the last lap. So not this one just completed, but the one just before. That is a very quick time, especially this late in the race. It looks like Chris Champeau is going to have a look up the inside of Pizzicami this time, going into turn 3. He doesn't want to let Christian Budd get away, but he might not have a choice. As up on the inside into turn 1, and that is going to be Chris Champeau back up into P2 for the moment. Can he hold off Pizzicami though? There's a lot of momentum to be had in that outside lane. And this time Champeau is clear. Now Chambliss had a little bit of a look as well. Couldn't get that move made. Couldn't get his nose up there in time. But maybe this time going into 3, Chambliss is having a look. Side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel they go. And Chambliss getting a great run out of turn 4. That's not to be expected. Oh, he gets a little bit loose, just about getting into the side of Pizzakemi there. Pizzakemi will be getting flashbacks to NORL, where I accidentally shouldered him out of the way in the 360 sprint cars. But that is now Brian Chambliss up into 3rd. Let's see what Kyle Kraus can do in the 60 car, whether he can get around Pizzakemi as well. Pizzakemi on the same lap tyres as Christian Budd. I would have actually honestly expected him to have pit under that caution. Because, I mean, why not? And it looks like this time Kraus is going to take that position away. John Lozelle up there as well, trying to make moves. He goes to the inside of Pizzakemi. That means Pizzakemi facing the big drop. Restarted in P2, and now he's fallen all the way down to P6. I think he even caught the wall there on the exit of turn 4 just for good measure. So it's a big fall from grace there for Pizzakemi. But he's still within reach of a top 5. At the start of the season, he had a bit of a top 5 streak going on, but wasn't able to keep it going. As the leader, Christian Budd, has pulled out to a 1.5 second lead over Chris Champeau. He couldn't top Champeau's time though, which is a bit surprising. Go check in on the 12 of Matt Burgess here. Both himself and Jonas Marquez are 1 lap down. They took wave rounds. They were 2 laps now down, but now they're just 1 lap down. And these guys are battling it out for 13th and 14th. As we're going to go back in to check in on our 21 car. Brian Chambliss has got Kyle Kraus all over his back bumper. See if Kyle Kraus has what it takes to try and get around Chambliss. At the moment, it's Twitch streamers in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Got twitch.tv/Christian Budd, twitch.tv/Champ Drives Cars, and twitch.tv/BR Chambliss. As the 60 of Kyle Kraus just seems to have a little bit of a better run there through turns 1 and 2. See what he can do in 3 and 4. See if he's got an advantage in there. It's all the way down to that yellow line. Got good entry, but Chambliss gets a better exit out of turn 4. Because he goes that little bit wider into 3 and then diamonds down on 4. Which is generally the way that you race this racetrack. And it looks like Chambliss actually pulling away from Kraus now. Knowing that he has the superior lines and possibly the superior tyres right now. As Chambliss again diamonds down a little bit off turn 4. John Lozelle, what a race John Lozelle has been having. He's up in the top 5 and he is hunting for that 4th position as well. In fact, he's probably just waiting on one or both of these guys to make a mistake so he can pounce on them. It's definitely one of the better races that we've seen out of John Lozelle this season. Let's see what Lozelle can do now that he's right on the tail of Kyle Kraus. These guys have 1.4 seconds over Pizzacchemi, who's back there in P6. So he's not going to be a factor in this top 5 battle. Let's see if we can get a tighter little look at that 23 car, see what he's got on the car. He's got a HendrickCars.com paint scheme. Got Napa on the boot as well. And great clips on the quarter panels. Looks like Kyle Kraus maybe just letting his tyres cool out for a couple of laps there while he was behind Chambliss. Chambliss made a little bit of a mistake, got a little bit tight coming out of turn 2, almost clouded the wall. And here comes the 60 of Kraus on the bottom of turn 3. And that checked both of them up coming out of turn 2. Lozelle well and truly in this battle as well. And if you think these races aren't important to these drivers, you've got another thing coming. Oh, it's a 60. Got very close to the front end of the 21 that time. Almost could have been disaster for both of them. And Lozelle right now is licking his lips in anticipation, as he now gets up to the inside of Chambliss. So the battle is on for John Lozelle to get his best result yet in the Output Racing League, and up into 4th he goes in front of Chambliss. But we know Chambliss is more of a long run kind of driver. He'll wait it out here a little bit back in 5th, and then he'll start to pounce again, although in saying that, he is not letting go of Lozelle in front of him. We know Chambliss is one hell of a tyre saver. Just not sure how good his tyre saving is around this track. This is definitely one of the harder tracks to save your tyres at. We do have Kyle Kraus up into P3, Lozelle 4, and Chambliss back down to 5th. Pizzacchemi still back there in P6, but as I said, he's not really going to be a factor in this little battle for the moment. But just behind Pizzacchemi, we have the 38 and the 13, Travis Massia and Thomas Harmon. And Harmon trying to look for a way around Massia. These guys battling it out for P7. And it just seems like Thomas Harmon has been battling for 7th this entire race. Because every time we cut to him, he's in a battle for 7th. Before it was John Lozelle, now it's Travis Massia. And what a great strategy for Massia. He waited on that caution flag to come out like he had a sixth sense, and called the pit strategy perfectly. But here comes Harmon now to the inside of Massia. Massia gives him plenty of room as they go through the dogleg. And that is Harmon now up into P7. Massia down to P8. Another driver on the move is Jonathan Hernandez, who's only 2 seconds behind these guys. He took the wave around on that caution after pitting on lap 72. Got older tyres than Christian Budd and Brian Pizzacchemi. He found himself a lap down when that caution came out. Let's go and focus on crashes here for a second, see where we end up, as we are looking at the 21 of Chambliss and the 60 of Kyle Kraus. There's the 5 of Mark Pentecoff just in front of them. Unfortunate for Mark that he is in 15th at the moment. I think he's 3 laps down, maybe 4. He did pit earlier for what I'm assuming was some repairs as Kyle Kraus nearly got tight into him. But Pentecoff definitely doing what he needs to do, which is just, stay in and out of the way. Although that time he clouted the ball on the entry to 3. That was a big hit. And that would have definitely have done some damage to that automobile. But now Chambliss back on the tail of Lizelle. So this battle for 4th might continue here, as Lazelle's trying to look at getting his first podium. But Chambliss wants to continue his podium streak. But I know something's for sure. None of these 3 drivers can be disappointed with their race today, because it's just a good hard battle from the 3 of them. I'm surprised that there hasn't been more crashes, honestly. This is a very difficult track, and it's very easy to make one small mistake and hit the wall and spin, especially coming out of turn 4. Oh, it's Kyle Kraus. Gets into the wall coming out of turn 2. This could be the advantage that the 23 of John Lizelle needed. He is right up on the tail of Kraus now. Let's see what Lizelle can do coming out of turn 4. And it doesn't look like he's going to be close enough. But Kraus gets lucky this time, but his luck can only go so far, because that car might be damaged. And you don't really think of draft or aero package being damaged around here as affecting your race terribly. But that's the thing with this track being a mile long. It actually can affect the car quite dramatically, as we're now within the last 10 laps of this race. 110 laps down, 10 laps to go. And then we finish the season here for the Arco Menards cars. The Season 1 2021 of the Output Racing League. We're going to continue to watch this battle for 3rd, as Lizelle definitely looking very tenacious now. As if as soon as he got the radio call that it was 10 to go, he decided that he wants to try and pounce. And he is throwing everything at it, including the kitchen sink, getting all the way to the back of Kyle Kraus on entry. Lizelle going very deep into the corners. One would be worried that he might accidentally run into the back of Kraus, which is a possibility going that deep into the corners. But it's also a way for him to wear out his tyres just that little bit faster than you would normally expect. See what Kraus can do this time. Again, getting right up to the bumper of Kraus. Can he pull it to the inside? And it looks like he does this time as they go through the dog leg. There is a little bit of overlap there. Now, Kraus stranded on the outside. Lizelle coming up the inside. Kraus with a little bit of extra momentum. The 21 of Chambliss trying to buy his way into this battle as well. This is definitely a 3-way battle for the last step on the podium. Lizelle lost out big time to Kraus, and now Chambliss trying to take advantage of that by running around the outside of Lizelle. A good hard battle here for the top 5 guys. Except for Chris Champeau, who's just been chilling out there in P2 for the longest time, and Christian Budd, who's just been running away with the lead again. Lizelle going very deep into turn 1, trying not to wash up the track. Chambliss just trying to hold on the outside, use the momentum to come off the corner ever so nicely. And they actually seem really even right now. Doesn't look like either one of them has the advantage over the other, as we now just have 5 laps to run in this race. Zell got a little bit loose there coming off of turn 4. And we have to start keeping an eye on the laps left, as Lizelle cleared Chambliss that time, but I think Chambliss did that intentionally, braking a little bit early, trying to get the over-under on Lizelle. And it is going to be 4 laps to go this time now. So who's going to take the advantage? Looks like Kyle Kraus is going to finish in P3 because he is away from these guys. But the battle is on for 4th and 5th. And I think even 6th and 7th, because Thomas Harmon has just caught up to the back of Pizzacami. As we just have 3 laps to go. And there's a big group here at the back of the pack. A couple of lap down cars, and I think one car in the lead lap, which is Frank. Benz Watson in the back of it as well, also on the lead lap. We're going to go and focus on our leader now. And we have a caution. And it was in that group that we were just watching. 5 of Mark Pentecoff has gone around. So we are going to possibly get an overtime situation. Let's see what happened here to Mark. Coming out of turn 4. Oh, the 12 and the 64 make contact. It's Matt Burgess and the 64 of Jonas Marquez. Marquez has gone around. Oh. Mark had nowhere to go. Burgess into the inside wall. Mark spun on the front stretch. Lizelle, the unfortunate victim in all that. Mark Pentecoff, the unfortunate bystander of it all. And that is just shaking things up here for the end of the race. As I said, we will be going into overtime now. The race was originally scheduled for 120 laps. And if that was the case, then we would be on the last lap right now. We're going to get a green, white checkered. Means that these drivers will have the opportunity to come in and get some fresh tires, which everyone from 5th on back has done. So only the top 4 stayed out on track. There'll be a question of who takes 2, who takes 4, who takes no tires at all, who just wants to come in and get some fuel to add some balance back into the car. It looks like Jonathan Hernandez taking 2 tires, coming out in 5th. So he's won the battle off pit lane. Ryan Chambliss in P6, Pizzacami 7, Thomas Harmon 8, Travis Masia 9, and Frank Isaacson now in P10. Now we're going to see how these drivers will handle this restart. See what line Christian Budd will choose for the restart, because that will be the important call here. And it's looking like he's indicating that he's going to take the outside line on the restart. And that is going to be the case, as I think we'll be getting the 1 to go this time by. Everyone's getting formed up and ready to go. And remember, we have fresh tyres on that 3rd row. Jonathan Hernandez with 2 fresh tyres. Brian Chambliss with 4 fresh tyres. Right, here we go. We're getting the green this time. Now we have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. And this is where all hell could possibly break loose. As the pace car goes in, we're underway.
Go.
Another
Green
good
flag.
jump there for Christian Budd. Not such a good jump there for Chris Champeau though. And I think we've got cars going around, possibly, maybe not. But look at that battle behind. Here comes the 21 of Brian Chambliss, those 4 fresh tyres. He's on the outside of Chris Champeau. Chris, who was in P2 for so long in this race. John Lozelle up into P2 at the moment. As we come out turn 4, it's white flag last lap. Last chance to win it or wear it. And Lozelle, all he has to do is try and hold off Brian Chambliss and he'll have his best finish ever in Output Racing League. Oh, and Lozelle just got punted by the 2 of Chris Champeau. They've wrecked. Brian Pizzakemi is also gone. I think Travis Massier also involved. And that is going to leave a battle for the lead coming out of turn 4. Does Chambliss have what it takes? No, he got on the apron too much and got loose. Christian Budd with the win. Brian Chambliss P2 and Thomas Harmon finishing in the 3rd position for this race. I feel so gutted for John Lozelle. That was going to be his best finish in the Output Racing League, and it was cruelly stolen away from him. And he's going to end up finishing here in 9th position. So those fresh tyres almost did it, but no one can stop the roll of Christian Budd and Brian Chambliss once again, the bridesmaid for the race. As Christian Budd does his burnout celebration, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews, as it looks like he's not doing a burnout, but definitely sounds like he is. There we go. There's the tyre smoke we've been waiting for. Okay, guys, so we're going to go to a commercial break here. When we come back, we will have driver interviews to make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, we're back, and it's time for driver interviews. And as per tradition, we're going to kick things off with our Hard Charger Award winner. Now, we do actually have everyone in the booth for all the interviews because I'm feeling a bit lazy today and I couldn't be bothered separating them out. So, today's Hard Charger Award winner started in 10th and finished in P6 for a net gain of 6 positions. We're, of course, talking to the 24 of Frank Isaacson today. Frank, feels like it's been forever since we've had you in the booth, man. How are you doing first and foremost?
I'm doing great. I don't even remember the last time I was in the booth. Looks nice. Did you get a new desk?
Actually, no, it's the same desk. It's just got more shit on it. But Frank, it was a great race from you, man. You didn't have the fastest car the entire race, but you were there when it counted. And, certainly those last lap shenanigans after you were restarting from P10 there definitely helped you gain a few positions in that last lap.
Yeah, the first half I burned my tires up, and I just decided I was going to stay out as long as possible, and the caution just put me back on the lead lap. So I was just able to hang on to 10th, and then that last lap I just squeezed right by everybody.
It definitely looked like it was a bit of a difficult crash to try and get around because it was started so far up the front, and then quite a few other people spun out as well. What was it like dodging through those crashes as you were trying to make your way through there?
Well, I just figured I'm either going to make it or I'm not. So I just hit the gas and prayed.
Good old cold trickle. I'm putting the hammer down, Harry. But Frank, it's been a decent season for you this year. You haven't really done anything spectacular, but you haven't been caught up in too many wrecks either, largely in part to us getting a lot of green flag runs, which is good. And, you've been getting some decent results out there. Do you feel like you're starting to improve a little bit?
I am. I've been kind of watching how everybody else takes this, drives these tracks, and paying attention. And the last half of the season, I've been actually doing a lot better.
Well, that's really good to hear, man. So this is the end of the season. How do you feel now that we're going to be out of the ARCA cars and moving on to the trucks for next season?
Cautiously optimistic.
Well, that's a good way to be. Right, Frank, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
You, Jaron, everybody that puts on this league, everybody that races in this league. I've been having a blast, and it's great to be here.
All right, thank you very much, Frank, and we look forward to seeing you next season when we start driving the trucks.
I will be there.
All right, coming up next, we will have our third place getter here today, and he actually started from deeper in the field, but he didn't count as a Hard Charger Award winner because he didn't put in a qualifying lap. But nevertheless, still a great run for the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas, crazy race, man. Green flag the whole way through, and every time we went to you, it looked like you were just in a battle for 7th.
Yeah, seemed to be stuck in that position for most of the race. Fortunately, the caution came at the end there and was able to move up a little bit.
It looked like you were having a really hard time just trying to get around John Lizelle. Lizelle had a crap ton of pace in this race. What was it like battling him for the majority of the race?
For the first about half of the race, I was just riding behind him. We were running close enough pace, and then I don't know if he slipped up or I just got a good run, but I got under him and cleared him, and then he tried to cross me over, and I fought him on the outside, and that warmed up that right front a little too much, and then he just kind of stayed on my ass, which made me have to push it harder and harder and harder, and wore that right front more than what I wanted, and then I guess he either skimmed the wall or got loose off the wall and gave me about a second and a half to him, and then I started relaxing and was able to reel Jonathan in.
All right, now let's talk about the second half of the race. Obviously, we had green flag stops and then the caution came out. How was the dynamic of the race after that first restart?
It was about the same. Everybody's still pretty patient, but a little bit more urgency. It wasn't desperation time yet, like that last one that you saw.
Now let's talk about that last restart. you were among some of the few drivers who came into the pits. Only the top four stayed out. So what was it like trying to pick your way through the traffic and the crash that happened on that final lap?
Trying to find a way to get around traffic and Brian just wasn't working out for me. I had a good run, but I caught the apron out of four and got loose and had to give it up. And at that point, I knew I was kind of fighting for third.
All right, man. Now, as I said, it's the end of the season. How is your feeling now that we're coming out of ARCA and transitioning over to trucks for next season?
Cautiously optimistic. I don't really like the truck, but I don't hate it either.
Oh, that's a fair assessment. So I guess before we let you go, we know you're a Twitch streamer. Do you want to give a shout out to your Twitch channel and then any other shout outs you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my channel, twitch.tv/JungleCatWizard. Shout out to you up in the booth for broadcasting it to everybody, for all the fans that watch every week, um, all the admins, drivers council, and Jared for putting on the league.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Look forward to seeing what we can do next season in the trucks.
I'll be there.
All right. Coming up next, the eternal bridesmaid, it would seem. Because in second place, yet again for I think the third or the fourth week in a row, going to be the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Brian, ever so close there on that final corner. You should have gone high, but you wanted to go low instead and just caught the apron a little bit there on that final lap.
Yeah, it's 4 of the last 5 races have been bridesmaid, and I don't think I haven't finished worse than 6 since February. So it's been a good push here towards the end, but yeah, it's still one spot short again. And I mean, as far as that last lap goes there in the 4, I think I was too far back to really make any kind of move there. If I went high, I mean, he was so far ahead, he'd have been able to just, move up a little bit in that line. And unless I'm, a jackass and just run him over and spin him out, there's no way that I was going to get it there. He had us covered. Really, I lost a chance at a win on that last restart when I just was not good. And then I missed the 1-2 shift, and then I was just too far back. Needed to be, a little closer to, a little closer to John, and didn't happen.
Now let's talk about the race as a whole. It looked like you were there or thereabouts towards the front to begin with, not dropping worse than P6 to begin with. So what was the race like for you, especially considering you were racing with some of our top drivers there for the majority of the race?
Yeah, it was all about trying to not overheat the right front and just being patient and waiting for the thing to rotate in the middle, and then getting the gas hard off, and then just trying to manage the thing stepping out. But it was really tight in. But early in the race, I was just using it up. There was guys that were getting me on the longer run, and I was hoping. I was really hoping for the thing to go green. As crazy as it is, finishing second. If it went green, I know I wouldn't have got second. But I had a plan going in there, and it just didn't work out. And cautions happened to fall. That last one really set it up. We got a lot of a lot of smart drivers in the league, but I was dumbfounded that nobody else in front of me came in, because I was like, that's the only one you're going to beat, Christian. And he said it himself. After 40 laps, you lose the second half. And I was like, well, we ran 46, so if somebody would have pit, they'd have been a second and a half faster than him. So I don't know why nobody else in front decided to pit, because they could have been looking at a win, but it didn't happen. And luckily, it worked out for me, and then at least I got as close as I could to second. But so that last restart got me.
Now you were another driver that had to avoid that shenanigans going into turn 1 on the final lap. What was it like for you trying to pick your way through Chris and Lizelle as they were making contact there?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it really all started at that restart. I shouldn't even have been, I should have been up alongside John and earlier instead of alongside Chris entering the corner. And I probably would have missed it, but man, still, when I saw that contact, I was like, oh my god, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, and then sure enough, just squeaked by there. I know there wasn't very much room, but I made it by. It was just, really, again, it was that restart. I just didn't have a good restart, and that put me in a bad spot, and I just couldn't recover.
And now, what's the feeling like for you now that we're finally out of the ARCA cars and moving on to trucks for next season?
Yeah, the trucks. Man, it's been so long since I've really driven the trucks, but I've always been pretty good at the trucks. First win was in the trucks. First real competitive league, I was in the trucks, and doing pretty well against similar competition. So I'm looking forward to going back to the trucks. I think it suits my driving style a little bit better. These tend to be pretty tight, and a lot of times the trucks you can wheel those things around a little bit. But yeah, it really. I'm just looking forward to a new season, one that I can be here. Every week and contend. Like I said, I had some real strong finishes here towards the end of the season. So, you know, seems to be I'm good at the end of the season. The beginning of the season, I'm not very good, and it puts me in a hole trying to pull back towards the end. But hopefully, we can have a better start and have more of the finishes that we've had towards the end of seasons at the beginning of the seasons and just maintain. But either way, I mean, everybody's chasing Christian. It was the last couple of years, everyone's been chasing Thomas, and now everyone's chasing Christian. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next year. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, man. Now, before we let you go, we know you're a Twitch streamer as well. Got a shout out to your Twitch channel and any other shout outs you got to handle here tonight.
Yeah, be twitch.tv/Brian or Brian BR Chambliss. First two initials, last name. And then I'd like to thank you and this league for putting us on. There's a lot of good racing here. Jaron does a great job, and all these drivers are really good. And if you need advice, they're always willing to help you out. So that's good. I've learned a lot here, and then I'd like to thank my family for letting me do this, and then that's about it. So we'll see you next season.
For sure, man. Hopefully, you can shake off that bridesmaid dress next season and pick yourself up a winner's crown. And we'll see what you can do again next season.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the bridesmaid dress or if I got a monkey on my back like Malcolm Waltrip or what. I don't know. I just need to get this thing off, whatever it is. Bridesmaid, monkey, whatever we need to do, just get it off.
All right, man. We'll see you next season.
We'll see.
Coming up next, going to be our dominant champion of the last two seasons. And last season was all year, but this time it's just the first 3 months of it, but still dominant nonetheless. It's your returning series champion and your winner of today's race, of course, the 50 of Christian Budd. Christian, you looked like you could have stopped and had a picnic and still picked up the win here today. How was the race for you?
Race was good. I thought it's kind of an interesting uh, deal with the way the car drove and the tires and how they fell off and everything. There really wasn't a lot of tire wear, so after about 20 laps, you just ran the same lap time over and over for. Probably could have done it all the way till you ran out of gas. Um, so I was really kind of hoping that the thing would go green. I was kind of disappointed to see that caution there in the middle because I was kind of interested to see what would happen there with the way the different pit cycles were going to go. But overall, it's pretty good. The setup was really tight, so my goal during the race was to lean on the right rear tire as much as I could, and I did that, and I think it was paying off. On the longer runs, I think guys were burning their right front, and I still was able to keep it rotating and keep it pretty neutral.
Yeah, we happened to hop on board with you for a couple of laps there and saw you driving it off the right rear a little bit. What kind of technique do you use to try and get it onto the right rear rather than the right front?
Yeah, so this track is a little it's pretty bumpy actually. So what I would do is I'd go down into the corner, I'd be on the brake and just kind of let it roll, and then usually I'd cycle over some certain bumps in each corner, And once I hit that bump, I'd just hammer it, uh, and it would just start to kind of, self rotate up off the corner. And sometimes you let it just drift out a little bit too, just to keep some heat in the right rear tire and wear that right rear tire a little bit more evenly. Um, and so, but it was really a comfortable thing to do. It wasn't out of control at all. Just you'd hammer it and you'd go wide open in this car. It's like a 2018 Gen 6 car or something like that with 750 horsepower where when you do that, you blow the tires off of it. This car pretty much just hooks up and you just keep it down and it just puts some heat in that right rear.
All right, now let's talk about those last couple of cautions. Um, First one kind of fell at an inopportune time where it was kind of like in the middle of the end of the green flag stops. So what was the thought process behind you staying out then, and also the thought process of you staying out for that last caution?
Well, in the middle, I think I only had like 2 or 3 laps on my tires when that caution came out. I'd pitted a little bit later in the cycle, and I was kind of kicking myself. I was really kind of debating back and forth whether I should just run the whole tank out or not, and then uh, kind of wish I had done that in a way, but that was pretty much a no-brainer. I mean, to come in and take my tires at that point would have just put me back in the field, and there was no reason to really do that. As far as the late caution was concerned, that's the worst case scenario uh, when you're the leader like that because you're getting a green white checker. There's really not enough time to get up front, um, and I had the feeling that guys who were in the back weren't going to be content to just pit with everybody and take tires and just know that that's where they're going to finish. So I figured if the leaders came behind me, that there'd be 2 or 3 guys who'd stay out with me. It ended up being some of the front guys who stayed out, but one way or the other, um, being able to control the restart, I knew I could get the big jump, and I only had to hold on for 2 laps. The real concern was if we had had an immediate caution and the guys with tires had gained some spots, then I would have been in a lot more trouble.
All right, now let's look forward to next season. Of course, we're jumping over to the trucks. So, what's your opinion jumping out of the ARCA car and into the C-Fix trucks for next season?
Uh, I've driven open trucks, and open trucks are pretty fun. But you know, the fixed setup's always going to come down to me as how good is the setup. If they're super tight and they wear the right front off and they don't rotate, then it's not going to be so fun. But if we get some decent sets to work with and decent tracks to drive on, then it will be fun. So I don't really know what to expect with it. You know, they're they can still be a little bit of a handful. Hopefully they'll wear the tires out. Hopefully, like I said, we'll have a schedule that really kind of caters to them. But we're just gonna have to see.
All right, Christian, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on not only a win here, but a win for the entire season again. And before we let you go, let's get some shout outs.
Yeah, watch it all happen at twitch.tv/Christian Bud. Always check out the Aussie Sim commentator to see the whole race. Does a great job of bringing everybody the action. And then, of course, Output Racing, Jaron has just built something pretty incredible here and a lot of fun to race with all these guys. And, of course, all these guys who show up every week. If nobody shows up, you don't have a race. And everybody here is taking their time and coming out and making these races a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you all to coming out, all you in the top three, and congratulations on getting your top threes. And again, Frank, congratulations on another Hard Charger award. It's been a while since you had your last one, but they're always worth it. And thank you to everyone who come out and watch every week, either live here on Twitch or the replay on YouTube. Every single view is very muchly appreciated. And until next season, when we go to the trucks, I have been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you guys next season.